Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to part 2 of 7.4. We're still dealing with surface area. We're dealing surface area of triangular prisms today. Remember that this shape is a triangular prism. It has two bases, one on each end, and that's what it sits on. Those are the bases that it sits on. So therefore, the triangular prism, we're still going to be using the same formula as a rectangular prism for the surface area and the lateral area. Just interpret the B and the capital P as well. So remember that the capital B is area of base. Now we're talking about the area of a triangle, and you go back to your elementary formulas. In order to find the area of a triangle, you do 1/2 BH. So 1/2 times the base times the height, and that's only for the face of the triangle. Now the perimeter of the base, again, we're doing the perimeter of the triangle. I need to find the distance all the way around. And how would I do that? Very simple. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. That's the formula. So now if I have to substitute all my basic formulas from elementary, let's go ahead and do that, because this is the formula that we're going to be using. S is equal to 2. Now remember, area of base is triangle, so 1/2 BH. And then perimeter of a triangle, side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3H. So side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. Don't forget that you have to multiply it by H. Now that last H is basically the height of the triangle if you were to stand it up and sit it on its base. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our first problem. Here we go. You are to find the lateral and the surface area of the whole shape. So for my example, I have a triangular prism. Now the lengths on this, on the bottom right here, it's 3 feet. The height is 4 feet. Then this slant length right here, this length that is at a slant is 5 feet. And then the whole prism, if you sit it on its base, the whole prism is 8.5 feet. I already went ahead and started with the formula. Remember, we're using S is equal to 2 capital B plus PH from the previous board. And start substituting the basic formula. The capital B gets substituted by 1/2 BH. The capital P gets substituted by side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. Now the very important part on this, guys, is that you need to determine the base and the height, both of them, of the triangular prism. So usually for the base and the height, you're going to find it where there's a right angle, okay? Remember, if you notice, there's this little box in here that signifies that it's a right triangle. And you're not always going to have a right triangle, but in this example, I am giving you a right triangle. Now, the base and the height, these two are interchangeable because it depends on what side you lay the triangular prism on. So, in a right triangle, remember that the longest length is across the right angle. So, the length across the right angle is not going to be the base or the height. That's just going to help you for the perimeter. So now the capital B that we broke down to 1/2 BH, the base is going to be your 3, and then the height is going to be your 4. All right? So let's go ahead and substitute. S is equal to 2 times 1/2. Remember, the B is the length on the bottom of the triangle, and I'm only talking about the face of the triangle. So gets substituted by 3. The height of the triangle is 4. Now, perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter of the triangle, the distance all the way around. Because at the end of the day, guys, in order to get the lateral area, I need to figure out what my perimeter is, then multiply it by the height of the triangle. So here we go. One of the sides is 3 plus the other height is 4. And then the third sorry, not the height, the length, the side. Then the other side is 5. Now, how tall is the triangular prism if I sit it on its basis? It's going to be 8.5 feet. And I'm going to multiply 8.5 by the sum of all that. So go ahead and plug into your calculator. Now right here, very easy, guys. What's 1/2 of 2? It's 1. Times 3 times 4, it equals to 12. Okay, now on this side over here, make sure that before you multiply, go ahead and add everything that is on the inside. So 3 plus 4 plus 5 is equal to 12. That 12 is going to be multiplied by 8.5. Now 12 drops down, and then you've got 12 times 8.5. 12 times 8.5 is 102 if you use your calculator. And then final answer, 12 plus 102 is 114. Now, what is our lateral and what is our surface area? Our lateral is the 102. So I can say that LA is 102, and I mixed up my numbers, guys. It's 102, and we're talking about feet squared. So this is my lateral area. Now my total surface area is 114 feet squared. So remember, lateral is the pH. Everything after the plus, whatever math you got on this side, it ended up being 102. Now, you're not always going to be given the height and the base of the triangular prism, and in reference to the face itself. So what happens when you have a triangular prism such as this? Let me show you. And actually, this is going to be easier than the rest of the problems that you might encounter in this lesson. So it has to give you the height of the prism, okay? So the height of the whole prism is 15, let's say, meters. Now, another thing that'll give you, it probably will give you measurements. This will be 6 meters. It will tell you 5 meters and 5 meters. But it's not giving you the height of the triangle. What it will give you sometimes is this right here, area of base, and it'll give you a value. In my problem, I'm going to give you that it is 12 meters squared, okay? So now we're still using the same formula. So the area of the base is 12 meters squared, okay? So they kind of already figured it out, kind of like they multiplied everything together and just gave you the capital B. Now, for this, S is equal to 2 areas of base. They gave you the area of the base, so simply just substitute that area of base into the whole of capital B. And then we're still going to use the side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 and then times the height. So side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 times the height. So for here, I can already start solving. 2 times 12 is 24. And then my side 1, side 2, side 3, doesn't matter how you substitute, 5 plus 5 plus 6, or 6 plus 5 plus 5 is fine. Then the height of the whole prism is 15. So my area of bases, I have 2 bases, so it's 24. And then I go ahead and add, and I end up with a total of 16. And then go ahead and take your calculator, guys. If you multiply 16, here we go, 16 times 15, it should give you 240. So S is equal to 24 plus 240, and then go ahead and add that up. So at the end, S is equal to 264, and we're talking about meters squared. Now this is the total surface area. Remember, we said that the lateral is the pH. Everything that is on the other end of the plus sign, so our lateral area is 240 right there. So we can say LA is equal to 240. We are talking about meters, so it's meters squared. Very easy, right? Now we also have to apply this to real world problems. I have a word problem written up for you already. Let me go ahead and put it on the other board. And be careful how you read the question as well, guys. So here we go. I'm going to turn you around this way. So in a real world problem, they might not give you a picture, right? But it says a right triangular prism with a base of 5 centimeters and side lengths of 12 centimeters and 15 centimeters is being spray painted. So just imagine a triangular prism, you have to spray paint it, right? So that means that you're covering it. If the prism is 40 centimeters tall, how much area will be spray painted per coat? So for each coat that you spray paint, how much are you going to be using? So here we go, guys. Remember the basic formula, S is equal to 2B plus pH, and then I substituted the 1/2 B plus, 1/2 BH, and then side 1, side 2, side 3, and the height. Now, if you're in doubt of what the prism looks like, right? You can always draw it out. I've always said that you can draw it out, and here we go. So it's a right triangular prism. This is the most important thing. A right triangular prism, then you've got the different measurements that you've been given. Extremely important that you know. So again, as in the previous picture, I had shown you that there was a right triangular prism. Now, doesn't matter how you draw it, but you need to understand it more than anything. Right triangular prism, we should have a right angle somewhere, okay? So it says with a base of 5 centimeters. So that means that my base, remember I always said the length from the bottom is your base, and then it says side lengths of 12 and 15. So which one is the height? Which one is the other side, the third side? Remember, in a right triangle, and this is something that we did in Pythagorean theorem, in a right triangle, the longest side is always your C. So my C, in this case, happens to be 15. And where would my C be? In a right triangle, it's always a right angle. So this measurement over here is 15 cm. That leaves me with my third side over here as 12 cm. Okay? So now we can go ahead and substitute the values. We multiply 2 times 1/2. What's the base of the triangle? The base is always this measurement right here, which is 5. What's the height of the triangle? How tall is the face of the triangle? 12 centimeters. And then go ahead and do side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. So in this case, it's 5 plus 12 plus 15 times the height. Now, where is the height? The height is back here in the word problem. All right? It's telling you that it's 40 centimeters. So this is 40 cm. And we're going to multiply that to 40 at the end of the day. All right? So go ahead and start doing your math, guys. If you plug into the calculator 2 times half, it gives you 1. And then 5 times 12, it gives you 60. Over here, you've got 5 plus 12 plus 15. All right? So go ahead and add it up. That is 20, 32. My 32 doesn't look too good, guys. Sorry, 32. And then times 40. All right? Now, go ahead and multiply 32 times 40. 32 times 40 should give you 1,280. So S is equal to 60 plus 1280. Okay? Just double check your math. And it is 1280. So go ahead and add it up. 60 plus 1280 should give you 1340. Now, in this case, they just said how much area will be painted per coat, and it's going to be 1,340. What are we talking about? Centimeters squared. So inshallah, you found this lesson to be very helpful, very easy. It's not that hard. Don't forget that you just need to break down that capital B and the capital P. And I broke it down for you all. So use the same formula, guys. Most important part is that you know what the base and the height of the face of the triangle are. Sometimes it's given to you in the image itself. You can draw it out when you're in doubt. And other than that, you know, the next thing that you can do as well is if you're given the area of the base, then you don't have to calculate the 1/2 BH. So hopefully you found this lecture easy. I think it's pretty easy. Just follow step by step by step. Don't overwhelm yourself. And go ahead and keep on working as hard as you are. Inshallah, we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.